Of note, Deseret is used in the names of a number of local businesses that appear to have no affiliation with the church. Right, but are they promoting beer? Is that what you said, babe? Beer. Are they promoting beer? Including a medical supply store, barber, plant nursery. Do you see anything that's really hazardous to your health here? Or hazardous to mankind? Do you see, does a barber or a plant nursery, does that enhance spousal abuse? Is a wife beater shirt associated with a plant nursery or a power company or a homeopathic shop and carpet cleaning service? Yeah, these are horrible things that have wreaked destruction upon mankind.
It's your destiny, be in harmony. We were never meant to be apart. What you want to be.
Okay, well, this is something I wasn't expecting, so I'm getting ready to go to sleep late last night, and I'm looking through my phone like a lot of us do, and I see the Salt Lake Tribune, and it says attorney for companies owned by LDS Church demands Salt Lake City Brewery discontinue one of its beers. Yes, you heard it right. Are we bullying people? When I say we are the church, is this a bully move? Well, if you look at some of the other headlines, it will tell you, yes, we are bullying. Axios says Utah brewery discontinues beer after Mormon church trademark complaint. So I don't know much about this. I'm just delving into this as I'm talking to you about it. Then Tech Dirt says LDS Church bullies brewery out of beer brand, referencing biblical bees. So it's crazy. Tech Dirt says, let's take it from their perspective just for a second. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has something of a roller coaster history when it comes to the enforcement of its real or perceived intellectual property rights. On the one hand, and I'm, let me interject here for a second. I am curious to see what they think is perceived. And maybe it is, I don't know. On the one hand, the church has occasionally been quite lenient when it comes to not trying to battle every use of its name, traditions, or religious texts. That's because people didn't do it that much. And it was like, we kind of let things slip through the crack because we were not quite out of obscurity yet, if you know what I mean. Not until like the last several years when we are way out of obscurity now. The Book of Mormon, it goes into the play. The Book of Mormon does exist after all. And it's not like the church put up some big fight over it. Yes, but it's not selling beer. If the Book of Mormon play was all about, come and watch the play and get some free Coors Light. I don't know. Maybe they would say something about it. On the other hand, the church has also previously tried to use IP laws to hide all kinds of information from the public, and even gone after individuals for trying to get trademarks on terms the church feels would degenerate its nature. Overall, however, and this is still Tech Dirt, the church appears to lean towards being a bullying bad actor when it comes to IP law, generally a trademark law specifically. So that one from Tech Dirt that I was just reading came out 4 days ago. So I couldn't find anything from Deseret News, but maybe I'm not looking right. But let's go to Axios just for a second. I'll come back to that one. So Axios, are they friendly to the church? I don't know much about Axios. Utah brewery discontinues beer after Mormon church trademark complaint. A Salt Lake brewery is discontinuing its Deseret IPA over a trademark-related complaint from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What is the trademark? Well, I'm seeing something up here that has the shape of the state of Utah, but that is just for the story because it has the state of Utah crossing out a beer. Okay. What's driving the news? Bewilder Brewing Company announced in a newsletter on Monday that it will phase out Deseret IPA and replace it with a new product. Well, come on. Deseret is a church trademark. Unfortunately, a large tax, but it's also a state trademark. Unfortunately, a large tax-exempt Utah-based entity wasn't pleased with our use of the word Deseret. The newsletter states, we have been asked to drop our trademark and discontinue the brand. Filings with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office show the brewery registered the trademark last August. The church and a few affiliated business entities then submitted filings as potential opposers, and Bewilder abandoned the trademark in November. What happened? Well, they claimed to have some food and beverage offerings and were afraid of marketplace confusion. Bewilder owner Cody McKendrick told Axios. What's the intrigue? The church opposes alcohol use and restricts the participation of members who drink. Okay, well, more importantly, alcohol is associated with drunk drivings, people getting hurt on the road from drunk driving, people dying. Also, alcohol poisoning, cirrhosis of the liver. I can go on, right? Just lots of bad things that's associated with alcohol. Alcoholism was so bad that even in the 1920s, it was discontinued. There was a prohibition put on alcohol, but I'm not going to get into that because a lot of us will say there are other reasons why that happened. But let's see, quote, their members would never think the LDS church would put out a beer, close quote, McKendrick said, although he noted the church owned, quote, all alcohol production in the state at one point, close quote. Yeah, well, things change. And then beer gets a bad name for itself. There was also a time where it was cool not to wear a seatbelt. I mean, literally cool for teenagers not to put their seatbelt on. We don't live in that time anymore. We live, we learn. Catch up quick. The word Deseret is from the Book of Mormon and means honeybee, an animal associated with the industriousness and hard work. Anyway, let's see here. Well, this is almost done. In the 1840s, early Mormons wanted Utah to be called the state of Deseret, but the federal government rejected the name according to the Library of Congress. Of note, Deseret is used in the names of a number of local businesses that appear to have no affiliation with the church. Right, but are they promoting beer? Is that what you said, babe?
Yeah.
Beer. Are they promoting beer? You know, Andrew, you really have to be my co-host. Maybe once in a while. I'm going to get a thing where I can hook up both microphones. Including a medical supply store, barber, plant nursery. Do you see anything that's really hazardous to your health here? Or hazardous to mankind?
It was against what the church believed.
Do you see, does a barber or a plant nursery, does that enhance spousal abuse?
Right.
Is a wife beater shirt associated with a plant nursery or a power company or a homeopathic shop and carpet cleaning service? Yeah, these are horrible things that have wreaked destruction upon mankind. Right?
Baby say, it's not fair.
It's just not fair. Zoom in. The honeybee reference is germane to Bewilder's recipes for Deseret IPA, which uses honey. Okay. I could see that. Maybe. Yeah. What they're saying, this is what they're saying. I don't have any money to fight with the church, so we'll just move on from that beer, McKendrick said. The church did not, well, come on. Deseret is also what we use to help the needy, the church, right? We have Deseret food and products that help the those who are poor and needy, the welfare system of the church. Thank you. I need you around when I'm half asleep and doing things like this. Consider being my co-host. You put little words in my head. Keep doing it. Okay, so let's see here. The church last year mounted a legal challenge against Real Housewife Heather Gay's Bad Mormon trademark. So that's a flashback. I like this Axios. It's kind of being, it's not, there's no slander here. I don't know. Is Axios is this a child company of Deseret? I don't know. What is Axios? I've heard of Axios. Of course I've heard of I know what Axios is. What am I saying? I am really half asleep. Anyway, the church previously objected to a Taylorsville coffee shop's use of an image of an old Angel Moroni statue. Of course. You can't go to the temple drinking coffee. But then again, isn't this taking away from people's constitutional rights and their rights to do business?
Not if they have a copyright.
Oh, that's true. Copyright. Well, we're doing everything legal.
Copyright trademarks. They belong to people.
That's true. As seen atop church temples, Moroni. So can you imagine a coffee shop where Moroni, there's a statue of Moroni there? The shop pulled the image from its advertising, instead displaying the warning letter they received from the church's intellectual property office. So yeah, we're talking about intellectual property. What's next? Bewilder's newsletter characterized the change as a great opportunity to get a more modern style beer in the liquor store to replace it. So look for that coming soon. So I want to look at this trademark. Beer, Utah beer trademark. Were they using it for a while? Okay. Well, yeah, you don't want a Deseret IPA. Come on. But see, they're going by the state. Deseret is the state of Deseret. Yeah. You know how all states have like the state of this, the state of that. What's the state of California? Like Utah is known for this being the state of Deseret.
No.
Yeah, the Golden State. Yeah, you're right. Why did I forget that? Okay. So here we go. It's not much of it. Like, it doesn't bother me, but I understand why they would do this. I understand why the church wouldn't want this up there. So back to Tech Dirt just for a second. I'll leave the link. Well, it's almost done here. Okay, back to Tech Dirt. The latest iteration of this routine sees the LDS Church bullying a brewery out of a beer brand name, merely because it references a term out of the Book of Mormon. It's not merely, okay? The Book of Mormon may not be anything to you, but it's important to many people, and we don't want the church. And if the church has a right to stop somebody legally, then too bad. A Salt Lake Brewery is discontinuing its... okay, we already read that. Okay. All right. Well, they're not saying anything different. I'll leave the link. Tech Dirt is very short, and it's kind of negative. And doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'll leave both links. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments section. Do you think if you're a believer in the church like me, you have a testimony, you love the gospel, you love the Book of Mormon, you understand the word Deseret and what that means to us as a church, but you don't think the church should, is that a bully move? Is the church pushing somebody around? Even if it does have the right to stop them legally, even if it is the church's intellectual property, what say you? Do you feel like, no, this is wrong, or this doesn't hurt the church. I mean, the Catholic Church has had a lot of, I mean, look at horror movies that they come out about the Catholic Church. They've been doing it since the 60s. It's not good. And it left a bad taste and bad thoughts in people's mouth about the Catholic Church. But what say you? Is this something that you feel, and let's say you're not a believer in the church, but you believe that the church has every right? Let me hear from some of you. Maybe you don't have a strong testimony in the church. Maybe you don't at all, but you feel like the church has a right to do this under the Constitution because they own the intellectual property. Or let's say you believe in the church, but you don't feel that this is right for the church to bully. Maybe you think they're bullying. Or you're somewhere in the middle or somewhere at the opposite end where you feel that this is absolutely good and this is not what the Savior would want. Let me know in the comment section.
Really know
Thank
where
you.
the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows